Shri Rajalakshmi Prakashan published. A textbook on fundamentals of agronomy 1. Authors: Dr. D. N. Jagtap, Dr. P. B. Pawar, Dr. U. V. Mahadkar. Chapter 13. Study of crop adaptation and its distribution. Adaptation. The living organism react with their environments and they bear full impression of the environments in which they grow. In order to withstand adverse condition of the environment and utilize to their maximum benefit of the nutrients and other conditions prevailing therein, the organism develops certain morphological, anatomical, physiological and reproductive feature. Any feature of an organism or its part which enables it to exist under conditions of its habitat is called adaptation. Such features or feature may allow the plants to make full use of nutrients, water, temperature or light available or may give protection against adverse factors such as temperature extremes, harmful insects and diseases. Adaptation may be morphological or physiological. Morphological adaptation, such as growth habit, strength of stalk, radial symmetry or rhizomes. Physiological adaptation, which result in resistance to parasites, greater ability to compete for nutrients or ability to withstand desiccation. However, both morphological and physiological adaptation represents the expression of physiological processes. Principles of plant distribution. Environmental factors are highly influential in determining the natural distribution of plants. There are 8 principles of plant distribution. Evolution. Climatic factors like light, temperature, moisture, wind, etc. Edaphic factors like soil, parent material, physiography. Dispersal of flora. Plant migrations. Climatic variations or change. Relative distributions of land and sea. Occurrence in geological time, and it exerts a high degree of control over distribution of flora. Biotic factors like obligate insect pollination, seed dissemination by animals and grazing by livestock directly influence the plant distribution. Warming gives his first classification of the plants in 1895, which is based on water requirement of crops and nature of substratum on which they grow. The classification is as follows. Oxylophytes, plants of acidic soils. Halophytes, plants of saline soils. Psammophytes, plants growing on the sand. Lithophytes, plants growing on the surface of rocks. Chasmophytes, plants growing in the crevices of rocks. Warming gives his second classification of the plants in 1909, which is based on water requirements of the plants and nature of soil. On the basis of their water requirement and nature of soils, the plants have been classified as follow. Hydrophytes. Plants growing in or near water. Plants which grow in wet places or in water either partly or wholly submerged are called hydrophytes or aquatic plants. Hydrophytes are those plants which live in water and adjust with their surroundings. They either remain fully submerged in the water like hydrilla, vallisneria, etc. or most of their body parts remain under the water like trapa, lotus, etc. Water lilies, sedges, crowfoots are other important water plants. A plant that is adapted to living either in waterlogged soil or partly or wholly submerged in water. Many hydrophytes absorb water and gases over the whole surface and have no stomata like the spiked water milfoil, Myriophyllum spicata, which is completely submerged in water. Ecological adaptations in hydrophytes. Point A. Roots. Due to availability of plenty of water, root system is secondary importance and least significant. Roots absent in Wolffia, Ceratophyllum. Poorly developed roots are seen in Hydrilla. Submerged leaves compensate for roots in Salvania. Root caps are absent in hydrophytes. Amphibious plants growing in mud will have distinct root caps. Root caps are replaced by root pockets in Pistia. If present, roots are generally fibrous, adventitious, reduced in length, unbranched or poorly branched. Balancing roots are present in Pistia, Eichhornia. Point B. Stems. Stem is long, slender and flexible in submerged plants. Example, Hydrilla, Potamogeton. Stem is slender or thick, short and spongy in free-floating forms. Example, Eichhornia. Stem is a rhizome in rooted plants with free-floating leaves. Example, Nymphea and Nelumbo. Point C. Leaves. In submerged forms, leaves are thin, long and ribbon-like. Example, Vallisneria, long and linear. Floating leaves are large and flat with wax coating. Example, Nymphea, Nelumbo and Victoria regia. Largest simple leaves in plant kingdom are present in Victoria regia. Petioles are long, flexible and covered with mucilage. Petioles are swollen and spongy in example, Eichhornia, Trapa. Heterophyly with submerged, floating and aerial leaves seen in Linephila, Ranunculus and Sagittaria. Anatomical features of hydrophytes. Cuticle is completely absent in submerged parts of the plants. Cuticle may be present as a thin film on surface of parts exposed to atmosphere. Epidermal cells are with chloroplast useful for absorption and assimilation. Stomata are totally absent in submerged hydrophytes. Exchange of gases takes place through diffusion. Non-functional stomata are seen in Potamogeton. Epistomatous leaves, stomata found only on upper surface, are present in hydrophytes with floating leaves. Example, Nelumbo. Mechanical tissues like cholenchyma and sclerenchyma are more or less absent. Xylem is poorly developed in hydrophytes as the water absorption takes place all over surface of the plant body. Hydrophytes have aerenchyma in all parts of the plants. Aerenchyma provides buoyancy to the hydrophytes. Xerophytes. Plants adapted to survive under the conditions of very poor supply of available water in the habitats. Xerophytic plants are again classified on the basis of their habitats as follow. Oxylophytes, plants of acidic soils. Halophytes, plants of saline soils. Psammophytes, plants growing on the sand. Lithophytes, plants growing on the surface of rocks. Chersophytes, plants growing on waste lands. Eremophytes, plants growing on deserts and steppes. Psychrophytes, plants growing on cold soils. Xylophytes, plants growing on savanna. Sclerophytes, plants growing on forest and bushland. Ecological adaptations in xerophytes. Point A. Roots. Xerophytes have a very well-developed root systems which may be profusely branched, which is extensive and more elaborate than shoot system. Many desert plants develop superficial root system where the supply of water is restricted to surface layer of the earth. The roots of perennial xerophytes grow very deep in the earth and reach the layers where water is available in plenty. Root hairs are densely developed near the growing tips of the rootlets. These enable the roots to absorb sufficient quantity of water. Point B. Stem. Stems of some xerophytes become very hard, dry, stunted, woody and covered with thick bark. It may be either aerial or subterranean. They are covered with thick coating of wax and silica as in Equisetum. Some may be covered with dense hairs as in Calotropis. In some xerophytes, stems may be modified into thorns, example, Duranta, Ulex, etc. In stem succulents, main stem itself becomes bulbous and fleshy and it seems as if leaves in these plants are arising directly from the top of the roots, example, Clania articulata. Stems in some extreme xerophytes are modified into leaf-like flattened, green and fleshy structures which are termed as phylloclades. Point C. Leaves. Some evergreen xerophytes have needle-like leaves, example, Pinus. In leaf succulents, the leaves swell remarkably and become very fleshy owing to storage of excess amount of water and latex in them. In majority of xerophytes, leaves are generally much reduced and are provided with thick cuticle and dense coating of wax or silica. Generally, the leaves of xerophytic species possess reduced leaf blades or pinnae and have very dense network of veins. Trichophily. In some xerophytes, especially those growing well exposed to strong wind, the undersurfaces of the leaves are covered with thick hairs which protect the stomatal guard cells and also check the transpiration. Example, Ziziphus, Nerium, Calotropis procera. Rolling of leaves. Leaves in some monocote xerophytic grasses have capacity for rolling or folding. Leaf surfaces are generally shiny and glazed to reflect light and heat. D. Flowers, fruits and seeds. Flowers usually develop in the favorable conditions. Fruits and seeds are protected by very hard shells or coatings. Anatomical features of xerophytes. A number of modifications develop internally in the xeric plants to overcome the water losses. These are as follow. Number 1. Heavy depositions. Heavy cutinization, lignifications, and wax deposition on the surface of epidermis and even in the hypodermis are very common in xerophytes. Number 2. Epidermis. Cells are small and compact. It is single-layered, but multiple epidermis is not uncommon. Wax, tannin, resin, cellulose, etc. deposited on the surface of epidermis form screen against high intensity of light. This further reduces the evaporation of water from the surface of plant body. Number 3. Hairs. Hairs are epidermal in origin. They may be simple or compound, uni or multicellular. Compound hairs are branched at the nodes. These hairs protect the stomata and prevent excessive water loss. Number 4. Stomata. In xerophytes, reduction of transpiration is of utmost importance. It is possible only if the stomatal number per unit area is reduced or if the stomata are modified in their structures. In xerophytes, number of stomata per unit area of leaf is greater than in mesophytes. They are generally of sunken type. Number 5. Hypodermis. In xerophytes, just below the epidermis, one or several layers of thick-walled compactly grouped cells may develop that form the hypodermis. Number 6. Ground tissue. Ground tissue is variously modified as point A. In the stem, a great part of body is formed of sclerenchyma. In those cases, where the leaves are either greatly reduced or they fall in the early season, the photosynthetic activity is taken up by outer chlorenchymatous cortex. Point B. In succulent stems and leaves, ground tissues are filled with thin-walled parenchymatous cells which store excess quantity of water, mucilage, latex, etc. This makes the stems swollen and fleshy. Number 7. Conducting tissues. Conducting tissues, that is xylem and phloem, develop very well in the xerophytic body. Mesophytes. Plants growing in an environment which is neither very dry nor very wet. Mesophytes make up the largest ecological group of terrestrial plants and usually grow under moderate to hot and humid climatic regions. Ecological adaptations in mesophytes. Mesophytes do not have any specific morphological adaptations. They usually have broad, flat and green leaves, an extensive fibrous root system to absorb water, and the ability to develop pollinating organs such as corms, rhizomes and bulbs to store food and water for use during drought. Anatomical features of mesophytes. Mesophytes do not have any special internal structure. Epidermis is single-layered usually with obvious stomata and large cortex. Opening or closing of stomata is related to water availability. Insufficient supply of water stomata remain open while in limited supply of water stomata are closed to prevent excessive transpiration leading to wilting. Theories governing crop adaptation and distribution. Theory of tolerance. Each plant or living organisms is able to thrive well in certain climatic conditions below which and above which the plant can't grow, that is, it requires optimum climatic conditions. Temperature is one of the most common limiting factors in plant distribution. Many tropical crops such as rubber, cocoa, banana will not withstand freezing temperature, 0 degrees Celsius. In these, rubber probably has the narrowest tolerance range and banana the widest range for temperature tolerance. Theory of avoidance. It may be accomplished through rapid completion of the life cycle, as in ephemerals, dormancy in seeds to avoid effects of the hottest and driest periods, dormancy in vegetative parts or roots of all the perennials, water accumulation in succulents and extremely deep root systems to avoid moisture deficiency. Theory of factors replaceability. One factor that can be replaced by another or substituted by another. For example, elevation can be substituted for latitude because of its temperature effects. The climatic conditions at the latitudes of 35 to 45 degree N resembles to that of tropical regions at elevation of 4,000 to 6,000 feet. The angle direction of slope may be substituted for latitude. This is also a temperature adjustment, depending on the angle of exposure to solar radiation, wind, etc. Parent materials may compensate for climate. Rainfall may be replaced by fog and to some extent by dew. Soil texture may be substituted for moisture. Distribution of different crops. The origin, adaptation, altitude, rainfall and temperature, soil and distribution of different crops are given below. Rice. In India, rice is the most important food crop, and it is the staple food in tropical and subtropical regions of Asia and Africa. Origin of rice is Indo-Burma, Indo-Myanmar. Rice is widely distributed in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Taiwan, China, Japan, Australia, USA, Spain, Korea. In India, rice is grown in the states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, coastal parts of Maharashtra from below sea level to 3,000 meters above MSL. Rice is classified as a hydrophyte. A heavy rainfall, RF, of 125 centimeters is required during its growing period. There should be a monthly RF of 200 millimeters to grow lowland rice and 100 millimeters to grow upland rice respectively. Deep water rice requires 1 meter height of standing column of water. Rice requires high humidity and high temperature, 18 to 32 degrees Celsius. The critical mean temperature for flowering and fertilization is 16 to 20 degrees Celsius. Though rice can be grown in variety of soils, ideal soil is heavy alluvial soils of river valley and delta. The best is soils with slightly acidic nature 5.5 to 6.5 pH, but rice is commonly grown in soils of 4.5 to 8.5 pH. Rice is also grown in acidic peaty soils of Kerala with pH of 3.0 and highly alkaline soils of Punjab and Haryana with pH 10.0. Wheat. Wheat is the most important and widely cultivated crop in the world. It occupies a prime position in terms of production. India ranks second in production next to China. In India, wheat is the second most important food crop next to rice. It is originated from Central Asia. Cultivated species of wheat are common bread wheat, 95% production, Durum macaroni samba wheat, 3 to 4% production, emmer wheat, 1% production, and Indian dwarf wheat, less than 1% production. Wheat is widely distributed in USSR, China, USA, Switzerland, France, Germany, India, etc. In India, wheat is grown in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, Bihar, Haryana, Maharashtra and Gujarat from sea level to as high as 3,300 meters above MSL. Cool winter and dry hot summer is required. Wheat requires a rainfall of 40 to 90 centimeters. But high temperature and high humidity are harmful. Though grown in wide range of soil, well-drained loams and clay loams are better suited. It is grown in soils with pH above 5.8 and the most suitable pH is 6.5 to 7.5. Wheat is cultivated in winter as well as in spring season. Maize. Maize is a queen of cereals. It is a multipurpose cereal grown in USA, Brazil, China, Mexico, India and Canada. In India it is grown in states of Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Punjab, Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh. It requires a mean temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and night temperature more than 15 degrees Celsius. Summer temperature below 19 degrees Celsius is not suitable. It requires a well-distributed rainfall of 50 to 75 centimeters. It can be grown from sea level to 3000 meters above MSL. Sorghum. It is a cereal crop for food in underdeveloped countries and it is grown in USA, China, Nigeria, Sudan and Argentina. In India, it is grown in states of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. The temperature requirement is minimum 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, optimum 26 to 29 degrees Celsius and maximum 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. Sorghum can tolerate high temperature throughout its life cycle better than any other cereal crops. Sorghum can tolerate drought condition. Because, point A, it remains dormant during moisture stress and resumes growth when favorable conditions reappear and, point B, it possesses, number 1, high resistance to desiccation, number 2, low transpiration rate, and number 3, largest number of fibrous roots. Gram. It is number 1 pulse in area, production and economic importance in India. It is Rabi season crop. It is grown in India, Pakistan, Ethiopia, Burma, Turkey. In India, it is grown in states of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and Maharashtra. It is a winter season crop but severe cold and frost are injurious to it. It requires a moderate rainfall of 60 to 90 centimeters. Pigeon Pea. A pulse crop of India with high demand. It is the second most important pulse crop of India after gram and foremost in southern India. It is Kharif season pulse crop. It is a crop with great resilience and withstands water stress and association of short-duration crops without any considerable adverse effect on yield. It is grown as pure crop, intercrop, border crop, etc. Groundnut. It is an introduced important all-seed crop of India. It is a tropical crop grown in India, China, USA and Brazil. In India, it is grown in the states of Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Punjab. It is grown between 45 degree N and 30 degree S latitude with R.F. 370 to 600 millimeters, minimum temperature 14 to 16 degrees Celsius and optimum temperature 21 to 26.5 degrees Celsius. Cotton. It is a fiber crop of commercially important and an industrial crop. It is grown in India, USA, former USSR countries, China, Brazil, Egypt, Pakistan, Mexico, Turkey and Sudan. In India, it is grown in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Cotton is a heat-loving plant, requires a minimum rainfall of 175 to 200 millimeters, well distributed. It requires a minimum of 180 to 200 frost-free days. Jute. It is also a fiber crop. It is grown in India, Bangladesh, China, Thailand, Brazil, Peru, Burma, Nepal and Vietnam. In India, it is grown in West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Meghalaya and Tripura. It requires an optimum temperature of 25 to 38 degrees Celsius, rainfall of 150 centimeters per annum and relative humidity of 55 to 90%. Tobacco. It is grown in India, China and USA. In India, it is grown in Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. It is a day-neutral plant. It requires a rainfall of 500 millimeters and 90 to 120 frost-free days. The temperature requirement is minimum temperature 13 to 14 degrees Celsius, optimum temperature 27 to 32 degrees Celsius and maximum temperature 35 degrees Celsius. Sugarcane. It is an important commercial cash crop, grown in India, Cuba, Brazil, Mexico, Pakistan, China, Philippines, Thailand and USA. In India, it is grown in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is grown in 30° N to 30° S latitude. Frost causes injury to sugarcane buds. It requires an annual rainfall of 1250 to 2500 millimeters. It is a short day plant. Flowering can be photoperiodically controlled. It requires an optimum temperature of 26 to 32 degrees Celsius for growth. Potato. Being a crop of temperate crop, requires a cool temperature. Ideal temperature for vegetative growth is 24 degrees Celsius and that for tuberization is 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. It is susceptible to frost and requires bright sunny weather. High humidity coupled with cloudy days is injurious to potato because the crop is attacked by fungal diseases, late blight.
We politely request, please like, share and subscribe our channel Sri Raj Lakshmi Publication.